Conway now returns to jail with a $750,000 bond instead, so it went from $2 million to $750,000. Conway arrested last week, nearly 5 years after the murder of another Dallas rapper, Melvin Noble, known by his rap name MO3.
But let's not.
The viral freeway shooting that caught national attention was only half the story. Newly resurfaced footage has just emerged online, revealing that a second shooter may have been involved in the setup that claimed MO3's life. Now, with actual receipts in hand, the narrative is shifting dramatically, raising serious questions and making several individuals very uncomfortable across the industry. This fresh footage shows more than initially believed. At first, everyone assumed there was only one shooter, the individual seen chasing MO3 down the freeway. However, upon closer examination of how MO3 was shot, the facts don't add up. The angle of the wounds suggests they did not come from directly behind, challenging the entire original account. Now it is appearing highly likely that a second shooter played a role, and this new footage could be the critical proof needed to reveal the full picture. MO3's manager, Rainwater, had hinted for a while that there was more to the story. Court documents have subtly supported this theory, mentioning multiple individuals involved beyond the main suspect, Quan White, also known as Banzo. Banzo himself has remained cryptic, making only one public statement. "One thing I know, I ain't do it." This alone intensifies the mystery surrounding the tragic incident and demands a deeper investigation immediately.
Folks spotted license plates in there that could link to something bigger.
Right. Ooh, I hope they go left some game. He got a gun out? He's seen it already. Go around.
Turning back to the footage, as MO3 was being followed on the freeway, another car was seen trailing him while recording. These individuals were making jokes, mocking him openly, and their behavior did not seem random at all. Observers have pointed out that visible license plates inside the vehicle could eventually link this group to something much bigger lurking behind the scenes. In the clip, voices are overheard saying, "Oh, he got a gun out," indicating they knew exactly what was unfolding ahead. They were tracking the Camaro, the same vehicle that had been aggressively trailing MO3, and seemed to be waiting for a specific signal. It has become increasingly clear that this event was coordinated far beyond what was initially understood. As MO3 entered Interstate 35, everything escalated according to his manager, Rainwater.
So, from what I understand, the car got hit up over a dozen times.
23 times.
23 times?
Yeah.
Did you look over and see?
That's why I was telling people, I don't even remember me looking over.
The car MO3 was driving didn't stop by choice. It stalled out completely. Why? Allegedly, the tires were shot, the engine was hit. It was all strategic. They needed him out of the car and exposed. And unfortunately, it worked exactly as planned. Adding to the setup, MO3 had earlier stopped at a gas station where that same Camaro was already present. These individuals were not just catching up to him randomly. They had been tailing him from the moment he left a woman's house earlier that morning. Every movement was monitored carefully and planned with precision. Inside the trailing vehicle, the individuals were heard saying, go around, he got a gun out," and "Oh, he see ya." They were hyped, completely locked in, trying to maneuver around other vehicles to stay right behind the Camaro. This was not some random altercation. This was clearly orchestrated and organized.
New at 4 now, still no public sighting of North Texas rapper Yella Beezy after he bonded out of jail at 10 o'clock this morning. He's charged with capital murder in the 2020 death of Dallas rapper MO3.
You can hear the tension and urgency in their voices as they tried to position themselves before the critical moment unfolded. Consider this for a moment. Why would MO3 suddenly stop his car on a busy freeway? The answer is, he didn't. His car was systematically disabled through targeted shots. When MO3 exited his vehicle and fled, it wasn't just Banzo chasing him. MO3 ended up encountering another shooter face-to-face, who is believed to have fired the fatal shots. The medical examiner even confirmed that the wound patterns do not match the typical trajectory of someone shot while being chased.
Conway now returns to jail with a $750,000 bond instead, so it went from $2 million to $750,000. Conway arrested last week, nearly 5 years after the murder of another Dallas rapper, Melvin Noble, known by his rap name MO3.
But let's not.
MO3 was seen with his hands up, not in surrender, but because he found himself confronting the second shooter directly. This is no longer just speculation. The footage is real and is surfacing from residents in Dallas who witnessed the event and recorded it. The freeway was packed with people who were aware of what was happening. Many were even playing MO3's music, showing that news of the incident spread quickly. Although much of the footage was allegedly wiped clean initially, it is beginning to resurface now, shedding light on what really transpired. Adding to the darkness, there were even rumors of parties being thrown to celebrate after the tragedy occurred. This only deepens the unsettling nature of the entire situation and paints a chilling picture of betrayal and orchestration. One thing remains clear. The MO3 case continues to develop even years later. Nearly 5 years after his death, authorities are now locking up and pointing serious fingers at none other than Yella Beezy, pushing this story into a new shocking chapter. Authorities are now saying Yella Beezy was the mastermind behind everything. Let's break down the full sequence. It all began on November 11th, 2020. MO3 was driving up Interstate 35 in Dallas, reportedly just minding his business when a masked shooter pulled up suddenly.
Folks spotted license plates in there that could link to something bigger.
Right. Ooh, I hope they go lift some games. We got a gun out? You seen it, bro? Go around.
MO3 attempted to flee his car and run for safety, but he was tragically struck multiple times right there on the crowded freeway. Sadly, MO3 did not survive the ambush. Making matters worse, a random bystander in another vehicle was also shot during the chaos, but thankfully survived. It was a straight-up highway assassination attempt. Broad daylight, packed traffic, and absolutely no escape route. The entire city was left wondering who would dare pull off something so reckless. About a month later, police arrested a 22-year-old named Q-On White. Initially, he was picked up on a gun charge, but then prosecutors hit him with a murder charge directly linked to MO3's case. Q-On pled guilty on the firearm charge and began serving a 9-year sentence. Yet the murder charge still looms over him heavily. However, the story didn't end there. By April 2021, police arrested another man, Devin Maurice Brown. Authorities allege that Devin was reaching out to witnesses, attempting to track down MO3's exact location just before the shooting. Phone records revealed numerous calls between Devin and Q-On, making the timeline even more suspicious. Interestingly, Q-On attempted to distance himself by acting like he didn't even know Devin. So by the spring of 2021, 2 people were tied to MO3's case, but no clear motive had been established yet. That's when deeper investigations uncovered more troubling connections. MO3 and Yella Beezy had long-standing beef that ran deep through the Dallas music scene. Fast forward nearly 4 years after Devin's arrest, and police circled back, officially stating that Yella Beezy orchestrated the entire attack. According to new reports, he allegedly paid Q-On to carry out the ambush, elevating the case to a serious conspiracy level. Although authorities remain tight-lipped about full details, fans and insiders who followed Dallas rap beefs closely were not surprised. Tensions had been simmering for years, especially after the tragic death of MO3's close friend Roy Lee. Back in 2018, Roy Lee reportedly disrespected Yella Beezy by calling out his claim to Oak Cliff, one of Dallas's most infamous hoods. While some brushed it off as petty drama, others saw it as a serious offense. Tragically, Roy Lee was shot outside a shopping center and later died from complications. Then, adding fuel to the fire, the day after Roy Lee's death, Yella Beezy himself was targeted in a drive-by shooting. He survived, but it became clear that Dallas streets were heating up rapidly, and things were only getting messier from there. Throughout all that tension, MO3 and Yella Beezy kept firing shots at each other through diss tracks and social media. Things escalated even further in early 2020 when MO3's manager alleged that Beezy and his crew jumped him outside a Dallas nightclub during a heated confrontation. So when MO3 was tragically killed in November 2020, the streets were filled with theories, but nothing was ever officially confirmed. For years, Yella Beezy wasn't even listed as a suspect in the case. Fast forward to 2025, and now Beezy has officially been arrested and charged, not just with conspiracy, but with capital murder, meaning life without parole or the death penalty could be possible outcomes. The wild part is both MO3 and Yella Beezy were rising stars with undeniable talent and serious potential to make major waves in the industry. Instead of moving past the street politics, their beef ultimately ended with one artist dead and the other now facing the most serious charges possible. When news broke last week that Yella Beezy had been arrested, the detail that stood out most was the capital murder charge. That's the highest level offense you can face in the state of Texas, carrying either life imprisonment without parole or the death penalty if convicted. Now, the question remains, why did it take 5 full years to arrest him? MO3 was gunned down back in 2020, and the alleged shooter was arrested quickly after. Yet Beezy's arrest only just happened now. The answer lies in the nature of criminal investigations. Major cases like this don't operate on a statute of limitations. Law enforcement had the time to quietly build a solid case, interviewing witnesses, gathering new evidence, and connecting deeper dots before making a move. And lately, especially in hip-hop, authorities are increasingly using rappers' own words against them, whether it's from songs, interviews, or even casual podcast appearances. It's a growing trend. We've seen it happen with artists like Lil Durk, Big U, and now Yella Beezy. Authorities are patiently taking notes, stockpiling lyrics and public statements, waiting for the right moment to strike. When it's time to move, prosecutors are ready to bring everything to court. Every bar, every quote, every mistake made in the public eye. Once something is said or shared publicly, it becomes fair game in court proceedings. It doesn't matter if it happened years ago, it can still be used today. It's similar to throwing something in the trash, thinking it's gone, only for someone to retrieve it and bring it back into play. In the digital age, everyone needs to think twice before putting anything online. Words, posts, and lyrics can resurface later, for better or much worse, and sometimes at the worst possible time. Now here's the situation. If the case against Yella Beezy actually moves forward to trial, things could get very complicated. Off the rip, Beezy's defense is likely preparing to flip the narrative hard. They'll probably highlight diss tracks, social media posts, old lyrics, anything that paints the situation as mutual beef rather than a calculated hit. But it gets even trickier from there because Beezy's arrest just happened, meaning this is still the very early stage of the legal process. What we're witnessing here is a collision between hip-hop culture and the legal system like never before. The second a rapper gets tied to anything violent or shady, the courts respond with extra force and intensity. These strict bond conditions placed on Yella Beezy aren't just about community safety. They're also about sending a very clear message to others watching. It's impossible to ignore how hip-hop artists are often portrayed as criminal masterminds the moment they step into court. Prosecutors love using lyrics, music videos, and social media posts as if they were direct evidence, even when the link to any crime is weak or non-existent. While Beezy is definitely facing serious allegations, the way his case is being handled reveals a lot about the double standards black artists still face. News headlines don't call him Conway. They emphasize rapper Yella Beezy charged with capital murder, feeding into the same harmful narratives. This kind of framing impacts more than just public opinion. It ruins careers, tanks streaming numbers, scares away corporate sponsors, and taints potential jurors long before a trial even begins. It's wild how the system continues to treat hip-hop itself like the root cause of violence, rather than recognizing it as a reflection of deeper societal issues. Rap has always been about storytelling and survival, not strategy for criminal activity. But instead of examining the environments that create these struggles, the courts often prefer to target the artists who narrate them. They lock them up, throw away the key, and call it justice, ignoring the deeper realities that hip-hop has always exposed. This Yella Beezy situation is serious without a doubt, but it's also shining a harsh light on the way Black artists, especially rappers, are judged differently in legal spaces. From courtroom arguments to online comment sections, it's obvious that hip-hop still has to fight for the right to exist without criminalization. Now that you've seen how everything is unfolding, what do you think? Was it a setup from the beginning? Is this new evidence strong enough to shake the case wide open? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Stay tuned, because there's a lot more coming soon.